As we leave behind 2020, we also say goodbye to Oscar season and await the chosen nominees, or lack thereof, as hardly any movies were released. Though I've never been much for award shows, both the art of film and Hollywood's grim beyond contain strange and fascinating histories. This month, we're honoring the classic days of Tinseltown by exploring the mysterious, the dark, and the unexplained. Some might even say, the cursed. I'm DreyOfTheDead, and it's time to feed your head. Released June 25th of 1976 in the US and 6/6/76 in the UK, The Omen was a British-American horror film. The story follows a couple, Robert and Catherine Thorne, who lose their child at birth. Catherine remains unaware of this fact, but with Robert's approval, the child is secretly replaced by a motherless infant, and dubbed Damien. As the child ages, a series of violent deaths and mysterious events begin to unfold, leaving Robert to speculate that Damien might be the son of the devil. The story was the brainchild of Robert Munger, a devout Christian, who was quick to warn everyone involved that filming a movie about the devil's son might invoke the wrath of Satan. The devil's greatest single weapon is to be invisible, he told the crew during pre-production, and you are going to take off his cloak of invisibility to millions of people. Even with this suspicion, Munger could not have anticipated all of the bizarre events about to take place. Misfortune quickly befell those involved with the film, beginning with Gregory Peck, the actor playing Robert Thorne. Shortly after accepting the role, Peck's son shot himself, leaving no note. Though racked with grief, Peck did not let the tragedy deter him from committing to the role. One of the first shots planned for the movie was an aerial shot of London. To execute this, the crew rented a plane, but just before filming, another party chartered the flight. The crew settled on a cheaper rental plane, while the one they'd missed out on took off, hit a flock of birds, and crashed at the end of the runway. The force dragged the aircraft into a nearby street, where it collided with a car, killing everyone involved. And what's stranger, those in the car were the wife and children of the pilot himself. Over the next few months, strange occurrences continue to plague the cast and crew, including 3 near-death experiences caused by weather. As Peck flew to England to shoot scenes for the film, his plane was struck by lightning. The engine caught fire, and the aircraft was nearly thrust into the ocean. Luckily, it was brought down safely, and no one was injured. Just 2 days later, the film's writer David Seltzer boarded another flight to England, which was also struck by lightning. On location in Rome, producer Harvey Bernhard narrowly escaped death when lightning touched down eerily close to where he was standing. But not all of the danger was carried out by weather. Shortly after, executive producer Mace Neufeld and his wife checked out early from their Hilton hotel in London, they were met with a deep sense of dread upon learning that the hotel had been leveled by an explosion. Days later, in an incident Neufeld described as more than coincidental, he, Peck, and others made their way to a trendy London restaurant for the evening. But mere minutes before they arrived, it was also destroyed in a violent explosion. Both of these were reportedly executed by the IRA. Animal handlers were no exception to the curse that seemed to surround the film. The film features an unsettling scene where zoo baboons attack the Thorns' car, with Damien and his mother trapped inside. To antagonize the primates, animal trainer Sidney Bamford was placed in the back seat with another baboon. The next day, Sidney showed up to film Damien being menaced by zoo tigers, a scene that was removed from the film. Why? Well, Sidney neglected to fully secure one of the large cats, and the beast locked onto his head, killing him instantly. Before production wrapped up, one of the last segments to be filmed was the iconic cemetery scene in which Robert Thorne is attacked by potentially possessed Rottweilers. In preparation for the scene, Gregory Peck's stunt double donned a padded suit the dogs could latch onto. Though they were well trained, as soon as filming commenced, they ignored the commands of their handlers, biting clean through the suit in a frenzied attack that caused serious injuries to the stuntman. After the movie's completion, the cast and crew parted ways, assured that the curse had come to an end. But it was only coming to a head. Upon moving on to his next project, special effects designer John Richardson and his wife were driving through the Netherlands when they were involved in a head-on collision. The crash rendered John unconscious. His wife, however, was not so fortunate. In a freak accident eerily similar to the Omen's most terrifying scene, a dislodged tire from one of the vehicles flew through the windshield and decapitated Mrs. Richardson. John later drew comparisons between the tragedy and the movie and claimed he woke up in the car to witness a nearby road sign which read, "Omen, 66.6 kilometers away." Following the film's release, the cast and crew received a barrage of letters threatening violence against them, though no action was ever taken. Nevertheless, it seemed those involved had already suffered greatly as a result of being part of the production. Though The Omen received mixed reviews from critics, it was a huge hit, earning over $60 million at the box office and becoming one of the highest-grossing films in 1976. The film secured 2 Oscar nominations, won Best Original Score, and spawned a franchise which included a series of sequels for the next 30 years. Though it seems the curse of the original film is a mere memory that is faded with time, one may argue that it still haunts those who cross its path. The Omen reboot released 6/6/2006 and featured Pete Postlethwaite in the role of Father Brennan. During filming, Pete's brother Mike took part in a game of 3-card poker, drew the wrong hand, and shortly thereafter met his end. The hand in question? 3 6s. The devil's hand. If you enjoyed this strange but true tale, be sure to subscribe and check out previous episodes. If you're a fan of behind-the-scenes footage and watching me make a complete ass out of myself, consider joining my Patreon. These are just a few of the patrons who make these videos possible. Well, it looks like we made it through 2020. Let's hope for a better year. As always, thank you so much for watching. Be well and stay strange.